You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Is your pet stressed out? Does your pet need annual vaccines? Which pet is best for a child? Would you know if your dog was in pain? Pet Life Radio presents The Pet Doctor, where you'll learn everything about keeping your pet healthy and happy. From pet care, pet meds and grooming, to pet food, pet insurance, and dental care, this is the place to find out everything there is to know about pet wellness. Whether you have a dog, cat, reptile, or rabbit, you'll find answers for your pets straight from the vets, because it's your pet. Health matters. Please welcome your Pet Doctor host, veterinary media consultant and veterinarian, Dr. Bernadine Cruz.
As a child, I remember my mom explaining the fine points of proper behavior at the dinner table, especially when that dinner included guests. I don't remember, however, being instructed in the fine art of behaving around dogs. All I recall is, don't touch strange dogs. She tried to scare me into compliance. It's a miracle I ever became a veterinarian. Sadly, the majority of children are never schooled in the skills needed to not become one of the 3.5 million youngsters that are bitten by dogs every year in the United States. Surprisingly, most of these dogs are familiar to the child that is bitten. My guest today is Jane Greco Deming. She's the Director of Humane Education for the American Humane Association. She'll explain the Kids Interacting Safely with Dogs program. It's fun, educational for children and adults, and it could save your child from injury or even death. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Please have a seat in the waiting room. The doctor will be with you shortly, right after these messages.
Pawfume Dog Grooming and Finishing Spray is proud to be a new sponsor of Pet Life Radio. Pawfume super long-lasting sprays are available in 4 unique fragrances. Each Pawfume spray is fortified with the finest conditioners and detanglers to make combing out your dog more fun. Pawfume retails for only $2 per 6-ounce bottle. Pawfume is available nationwide at all Dollar General and Family Dollar stores. Why pay more to have your dog smell great? Pawfume, Pawfume.
It's time for school for you and your friends, your furry best friends. Train your dog the fun and easy way with Teacher's Pet Sessions. Teacher's Pet host Pia Silvani teaches you step-by-step how to train your dog the fun and easy way. You get 8 30-minute live audio training sessions, complete transcripts of each session, plus a basic training manual to get you and your dog off to a great start. Training begins the moment you bring your dog home. Teacher's Pet Sessions offers positive reinforcement training to shape your dog's behavior and encourages upbeat, enthusiastic responses to ensure that your dog will enjoy learning. Teacher's Pet Sessions dog training is fun at both ends of the leash. So listen, learn, and laugh with your dog with Teacher's Pet Sessions. Get your copy of Teacher's Pet Sessions Volume 1 today. To order, go to teacherspetsessions.com.
Hi, this is Pia Silvani, your host. Bring your dog, tug toy, and treats, and get ready to have some fun.
teacherspetsessions.com.
Got questions about your hound's health? Need the facts on Fido's fitness or food? You want to unleash your pup's potential? Well, you've come to the right place with Win with Dogs. Here, we learn how easy it is to naturally improve the lives of our furry friends. So sit, stay, and get ready to win with dogs. With me, Raquel Wynn. Exercise, nutrition, interaction, and love make for one healthy, happy hound. Give yourself the gift of knowledge on demand every week right here at Pet Life Radio with me, Raquel Wynn, and Win with Dogs.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Welcome back to the Pet Doctor on Pet Life Radio with Dr. Bernadine Cruz. The doctor is in, and we'll see you now.
Well, Jane, thank you very much for being with us today. I really think this is such an important subject that people don't really think about or know about.
Oh, I agree completely. It's probably the biggest reason why I did this project was because I think people don't really even consider the fact that a dog could bite until it happens. And then it's too late. And for really small children, it can be pretty terrifying.
So how common are dog bites? You know, you hear about these horrible stories of even adults being fatally injured by a dog bite. But I think in reality, they are, of course, horrible, and you hear about them. But dog bites themselves are much more frequent than these fatalities.
You're absolutely correct. And really, all we do hear about is these big dogs that do terrible damage. And what we don't hear about are the majority of the bites. According to the CDC, 4.7 million people will be bitten by dogs this year. 100,000 will require medical care in either a hospital or an emergency room. That's huge.
That's a huge number.
And sadly, the majority of the bites happen to children under 12.
Is there a sex predilection where it's going to be more boys or girls that are being bitten?
Well, it's interesting because typically kids in the group of children over the age of 12, it's boys.
Okay.
But there's a big population that I kind of focused on with American Humane Kids, and that's the kids that are 8 and under. Those kids get the worst bites because think about the proximity of their face to the dog. So their bites are to the head, the neck, the face. They're pretty dramatic. They often require special surgery. The trauma is much bigger for little kids who really can't even process that kind of information.
They just see this dog and, say, oh, doggy, doggy, and all dogs are friends until proven otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many of these babies, I have 3 grandchildren, and I've watched them go through the learning curve first with their own cats at home. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, you had a program of getting children and babies, on the same page with parents. So baby-ready pets. That, I think, is very important. But these poor little children oftentimes don't even have that hand and eye coordination. So I've seen these children reach out and they come away, and thankfully so many dogs are so good, and they have this handful of fur, and you're going, oh, poor doggy.
Yeah, and what's going to happen next? Well, one of the things that we considered when we were doing this is the fact that if you go online and go, for a Google search, you will discover that there is a mountain of information for kids 8 and up about how to be safe about dogs, because we can talk to them about being bitten. When you talk to children under the age of 8, you have to be really cautious, because what you don't want to do is create a fear where there was none. And you don't want to make children phobic so that every single dog that comes along is a potential danger. What we want to do, and what we have done here, that I think is unique among all the dog bite prevention programs, is we never use the word bite, aggression, fear. We talk about empathy, and what we do is put the children into the mind's eye of the dog. How does it feel? So we're trying to build empathy so that they'll think about the dog. Because, by the way, most of these bites happen with the family dog.
That's what I found is amazing. It's not the unfamiliar dog, the dog that, you're on the playground and they go chasing after you.
Exactly. I think we have this Cujo image, which is such a mistake, because the majority of the children, about 67% of the children that are bitten by dogs, are bitten by either their own dog or grandma's dog. They try to take the bone away. It's really more accidental and thoughtless. And, one of the things my assistant always says, which I think is so astute, is that what we do is we put those little pluggy things in so the kids won't touch the electrical sockets. We put corners in New England. We have a lot of fireplaces that have a lot of stone. We put all protection around there so if the child falls, they don't bang their head. We put the knives far away. But we leave our dog out running around, and we don't do anything to prepare the child or to make the child aware to be nice.
Or also prepare the dog for the child, too.
Right. Right, and that's another whole scenario. But with young children, with a dog around the house, and like I said, it could be grandma's dog, the neighbor's dog. My nephew was badly bitten by his neighbor's dog that he knew all his life, but the dog was tied out while they were having the rug shampooed. And when he ran over the dog, it was just a different set of circumstances. And the dog ripped into his arm. And it was really hard for him because he was like 6 years old, and he considered the dog his friend.
Right. I've played with you. I've seen you. Yes.
Yeah. So what we try to do is get kids thinking about how dogs feel in particular situations with this, not only with the curriculum, but with the video, with the coloring book. We try to get them to say, you know, how do I feel when someone tries to take my toy, or when someone wakes me abruptly? And so that the kids begin to understand. It's really interesting, too. When I just did a program day before yesterday for 5 and 6 year olds at Green Chimneys, which is a residential school for children with issues. I did this program, and I asked the kids if pets had feelings. Do animals have feelings? And it was so interesting because young children always say no, and then they immediately catch themselves and they're like, but wait a minute, maybe they do. So then I'll ask, do they get hungry? Do they get thirsty? Could they be afraid? Could they be happy? And suddenly the kids are like, yes, dogs do have feelings. And that's really the first step toward making children more aware that they need to pay attention. And then
watching your video was wonderful, yes, because it really was very empathetic. And the little boy that you had, let's see, what was his name? Just a honey of a child, Henry and his dog, Denver, you know, this big shaggy dog, Denver.
Yeah.
Is this a professional actor? Because he was just marvelous.
No, the great thing about this video, and the reason that we did this DVD the way we did, was because typically the DVDs and videos that have been distributed nationally to kids have a veterinarian, a mother, a father, 2 children, a boy and a girl, a purebred dog, a purebred cat.
I've seen those.
And well, of course. And when I bring those into an inner city school, it's laughable. These kids cannot in any way connect with this family, with the station wagon and the veterinarian who spends 40 minutes explaining to them about how to be safe. So my decision was to go to a really great filmmaker who understands humane issues, and that's Eric Friedel. He does beautiful work, and to get people that were not actors and actresses, but kids off the street.
And it was nice because it definitely was cross-cultural. You know, there was an abuelita at the end, a grandma.
Yes.
Saying, you know, come on, you have to come and go home to dinner. But it was very believable scenarios. And children, you know, all of a sudden here's a dog that's sleeping and you're sneaking up on it. And things that oftentimes I think children will do or take something away because now they finally have had a chance to be maybe a little bossy. You know, they have a big brother, big sister, mom and dad's always telling them what to do. And now they have finally a chance saying, fine, I can't do it to my big brother, but boy, I can sure boss around the dog.
Well, and sure, that's that trickle-down effect. You know, you got to have somebody to boss, and if there's no pet, then that makes it tough. But especially if you have a little submissive dog. But dogs can only take so much, and kids need to understand that they have limits, just like we do. This little group that I was with on Tuesday, I said to them, so when a dog is sleeping, how should we wake it up? Should we poke it? Should we scream at it? And a little girl said to me, we need to whisper. And that's exactly right. I said to them, if you just get the dog's attention before you touch it, then it's prepared that you're coming. Do you like it when people sneak up behind you and say boo? And it was really funny because all the heads were appropriately nodding. And these were 5-year-olds, you know, like saying, you're right. I'm sure you noticed in the DVD, Henry keeps asking the kids questions and testing them on what he's discussed. And you see all the children in the group nodding their heads yes and no at the appropriate moments. That's amazing to me because it means we're getting our message across without frightening the children.
And what's so sad, I've seen it all too frequently. Either out on the street or sometimes even in the practice where maybe a mother and child or their young child they have a kitty or a bunny or whatever else, and a dog comes in and immediately, they pull the child really close and, be really afraid. And it's like, this is terrible. I'm sure that the parent somehow was frightened by a dog when they were maybe younger, and now they're just perpetuating it by telling their children to be afraid. So this is just perfect for children to watch with their parents. The parents can definitely learn just as much.
And the way we designed it was so that, number one, a parent could just run the DVD, with the family around and then use the coloring books afterwards to kind of reinforce it. But also for humane educators, and there are hundreds of them all over the country who work in shelters and go out into the community to present programs like this, it's all in one package. So the CD contains all the lesson plans and the activities. So anybody who wants to get this can do as much or as little as they want in order to prepare children. So for instance, there are 1 million children in America being homeschooled now. So for a very small price, the homeschool teacher can order these materials and have 2 weeks worth of lessons that do meet national standards, that are based on those standards, that are laced with character lessons, which is now a mandate in almost every school department in the country, but also it's a safety lesson. Nothing would be better to me than if this was spread all over the country and suddenly we saw these CDC numbers drop. And it is the families that will make the difference on those statistics.
What I love about this is that, yes, it is very complete. The coloring book is fantastic. Again, it's a cross-cultural, and we will have on our website where people can go to learn about this and hopefully order it. Now, do they have to order the whole kit, the lesson plan, the DVD, and the comic book, coloring book, or can they order these things separately?
Everything can be purchased individually. Even for instance, I'm talking to a town in Texas that would like their entire first grade to have this program, but it would be expensive for them. We also have a 4-page leaflet that's kind of a summary of the coloring book, and it also works with older kids as well. So you can buy everything individually from the website. So if you have 2 children, then you could buy the DVD and CD are in one package. So that's a great deal. You get all of that can be used over and over again. A mountain of information for teachers and school administrators about how to present this program and about how to use the materials. So there's nothing left to the imagination, or someone who's a homeschool teacher who might not understand about curriculum and national standards. It's all spelled out in here for them. Very, very basic. So anybody could use this. We also envisioned it, in the summer, kids are at Boys and Girls Clubs, they're at summer camps, and those people are looking for projects to present to the kids. And this is perfect. It's inexpensive, it's smart, it's fun, and the best part is, again, it's a safety consideration. It's an important safety message.
And the character message, which I really want to talk to Jane Greco Deming, who is the Director of Humane Education for the American Humane Association. We've been talking about this marvelous program of kids interacting with dogs safely. We're going to be right back after this short break, and then Jane can tell us all about the character lessons that these children are learning at the same time. We'll be right back.
Please have a seat in the waiting room. The doctor will be with you shortly, right after these messages.
Give your dog some thought with Dog Thoughts. It's the iPhone application that everyone's talking about.
Hey, what do you think of this? A man in Davis, California says he's invented an application for the iPhone that claims it can read your dog's mind. Huh? No, it's true. I read about it on my cat's Twitter page. That's why I
Jay Leno talked about it, CBS reported on it, and now you can see what all the buzz is about. Created just for dog lovers, Dog Thoughts makes taking photos of your furry best friend more fun. Shake your dog and read his mind. On your iPhone, of course. Take a pic of your pup, shake your phone, and watch as his thoughts appear on the screen. Does he have a bone to pick with you, or is he having a tail-wagging day? Get your Dog Thoughts iPhone app today. Just 99 cents. Go to PetLifeRadioPromotions.com. That's PetLifeRadioPromotions.com.
Greetings, human. What planet am I on?
Welcome to Pet Planet. Here's a copy of Pet Planet Magazine, Florida's most informative and fun pet resource magazine. It features heartwarming stories and informative articles from local and national pet experts.
Excellent.
Pet Planet Magazine offers Operation Planet Rescue, helping rescued pets find new homes. And it's available at 500 locations in South and Central Florida and 24/7 on the internet at PetPlanetMagazine.com. If you're out and about with your pet, you may be featured in Paparazzi, candid pictures of you and your pet. For up-to-date pet-friendly events, activities, and pet-related services and products, Pet Planet Magazine is your final destination.
I shall take this magazine home with me.
Back to your home planet?
No, to my condo in Boca.
Pet Planet Magazine. Check them out at www.petplanetmagazine.com or 352-394-8578. It's out of this world.
Hi, this is Marcy Davis and my service dog Whistle, and we're your hosts of Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Working Like Dogs is the show where you can learn everything you ever wanted to know about working animals or working dogs. Whether you're a member of a working dog team or you've just seen a working dog or animal out at the mall or the grocery store and you're curious about how these amazing animals work with their human partners, then Working Like Dogs is the show for you. Join us for the inside scoop at Working Like Dogs on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. Welcome back to the Pet Doctor on Pet Life Radio with Dr. Bernadine Cruz. The doctor is in, and we'll see you now.
Jane, again, thank you so much for being with us. After seeing this, next time I'm asked to go to a grammar school and talk to the children about veterinary medicine, I think I'm going to order a couple of sets of these and take this along with me because this is just perfect. And I love the fact that it's not just a safety lesson, that's extremely important, but also the character lesson. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for the character lesson, what we tried to do was, because character is mandated in the school systems, and if we want this to be used more readily in the school systems, we thought that we really needed to lace it with the character. So what we did was we took the different messages of character and we tried to put them throughout it, and we also in each lesson plan addressed what characters were covered in that particular lesson. So,
give us an example.
Okay, so respect. It's a matter of respect for animals, that we take good care of them, that we not harm them, that they are provided a good meal every day. Also, one of the things that we talk about in there a lot is kindness. There's, you may recall in the video, there's a dog who is obviously lost and running loose, and the kids are kind of frightened by him, but they also feel really badly that that his owner is nowhere to be found, and so they say, we're going to call animal control. So that's responsibility. It's empathy, kindness, because even though the dog kind of scared them, they still feel bad about him. And then
they figure, what if I was lost, right?
And then they talk about calling animal control and doing the right thing. That's good citizenship. It's fairness. So on each of the lessons, those kind of things are addressed, so that the teacher knows exactly which, for the listeners, the pillars of character, there are 6. Respect, responsibility, kindness, trustworthiness, citizenship, and fairness. And these are taught in the classroom in a lot of different ways. I feel like this is the most fun way that you could teach your kids, your classroom, about the pillars of character, because it incorporates animals, and kids love to have conversations about animals.
And it's a perfect combination, having the two together. Now, is it possible to go to your website and see the video on your website?
No, because we have it for sale.
Okay.
And really, it cost us so much to put this package together that it's not something that we can just give away.
Well, understandable. It is awesome.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And the great thing about it is, once you buy it, you can use it over and over again. In fact, when I did the presentation Tuesday at Green Chimneys, afterwards the teachers all got together and downloaded all the lesson plans, and they're now sharing it with the older grades because they think it would be a good idea for the whole school to see the video and do some of the lessons. So, once you have it, it's yours. The only thing that you would have to replace is either the coloring books or the leaflets. And I think I sent you a copy of the leaflet.
Yes, and though it says it's for ages 4 to 7, you're right, it's definitely something that even older children and adults can learn about too, because so many times, watching the video, at one point Henry was talking about being scared and running from the dog,
yes.
And it's just human nature. A dog is coming at you, and what do? You run, and that is the incorrect thing. What should they do?
Well, we do an exercise called stand like a tree, curl up like a rock. So if a child is standing, say, after school on their way home, they would stand, put their feet together, their hands at their sides, and look up. You don't want them to make eye contact with the dog. Most of the time, what the dog wants is provocation. And if they don't get it, then they're off doing something else or looking for another challenge. For children, say the kids are playing jacks on the sidewalk and the dog approaches and they're all sitting down, they would curl up like a rock, lay on their side, pull their knees up to their chest, cover their ears with their fist because the ear is kind of a tender spot, and look down at the ground.
And adults can do that just like children. I mean, there are times you get knocked over.
Absolutely. And we tell kids if you're on a bike, it's not included in this, but we always tell kids if you're on a bike, get on the other side of the bike and stand still. Put the bike between you and the dog and keep still. But, kids instinctively want to run. They want to bolt. And
so do I. And I'm a veterinarian.
And that does trigger the dog's, instinct to run, that prey drive. And we certainly don't want that. The other thing that we teach them on the DVD and also through the program is how to meet a dog you've never met before.
Yes, please talk about that.
Kids assume that if the dog is on a leash, that you can just run up and say hi to it because it must be friendly. It's owned by someone, but
or it's wagging its tail.
Kids. Yeah. So we tell them, stay back, away from far enough back that the leash can't reach you, and ask the owner or the person walking the dog, and they all have to repeat this, is your dog friendly? May we pet your dog? And it was funny because at Green Chimneys we practiced this with this wonderful golden retriever who couldn't wait for them to approach and pet her, which was kind of counterproductive. But it was wonderful because the kids did wait, and they did wait for the person who holding the leash to give them approval. And once they practiced that with a live dog, they were different children after that about how they felt about approaching dogs. And we also tell them, and I think you probably saw it in the coloring book, that there are don'ts. Don't treat a dog unkindly. Don't bother a dog when it's busy. Don't approach a dog you don't know. Be calm, be still. So we try to get kids to be thinking about, like kind of as second nature. That dog is in a car barking. I should not touch it. That dog is tied to a pole while its owner is in the store. I should not approach it. Dogs behind fences. They look friendly. They're engaging. They really want you to come and pet them until you get close. And then they're protecting their territory.
I think that's one of the main reasons I was reading on CDC that, dogs being territorial, trying to protect their territory, and then children love them dearly, but they tend to sometimes be a little on the loud side.
Yeah.
anxieties that dogs will get because of loud noises, thunderstorms, things like this, fireworks. Yeah. Here's this child that's making all this noise. It's like, oh, kid, you're driving me crazy. And all of a sudden they get bitten. Or the older dog that's painful or can't see. Another reason why a typically nice dog of grandma's might say, kid, you're bugging me.
Yeah, this is too much. One of the things that we try to remind parents about, and I'd like to remind your listening audience particularly, is that we don't want to correct dogs when they growl. And I'm sure you must tell your clients this. A growl is a signal that the dog is uncomfortable. And for us to stifle that means the next time the dog won't give us a warning. What we need to do is end whatever the situation is. Either get the child out of the room or let the dog go in another room, but not as a punishment, but end whatever the situation is that has made the dog uncomfortable. So many people say, oh, no, Bowser, don't do that. And then he has no way to express his discomfort. And the next time it's a nip or a snap or worse, even a bite. So we want to remind parents and dog owners that it's really not a good idea to correct a growl. A growl is a signal, and we need to respect it and listen to it.
And the other thing also, sometimes it's not a growl, but people will call it a dog purring, which is still basically a growl. And they go, isn't it cute? It's purring. Going, no. Dogs don't purr. No. That is a growl.
Those little hackles go up and, that little C on the side of their mouth forms, then you know that the dog is having difficulty. And we always tell people that if you have a dog that's really nervous, don't let them get into those situations, because really the responsibility is two-sided. We need to teach our kids to be dog-friendly. We need to teach our dogs to be kid-friendly, and we need to give them each their own space. So, and that's kind of an important balance. And like I said, we remember to cover up those electrical plugs and put the knives away, but we forget to tell our children to go easy, to be respectful. A dog needs a place for time out where the kid can't go. With toddlers, that's particularly true. If they go into their crate, the toddler should not be allowed to go near the crate.
Crawl in with it.
Yeah, which we see pictures of all the time, and people think are so cute. But really, that's a real space issue for dogs.
Most people think about dog bites and typically think of, the pit bull, and they think of the large dogs. And yes, the large dogs, because they are so powerful, when they bite, can really inflict horrible injuries. Right. Do you have data as to which breeds, are there breeds in your research that have been more likely to bite?
The breeds that the CDC recommend that people don't have are the ones that can do the most harm. And now even insurance companies are saying, you need a special umbrella if you have a pit bull, a Rottweiler. But you and I know my assistant's dog is a pit bull, and she is the sweetest thing. I know many Rottweilers who are wonderful. It's really not the dog. I believe it's irresponsible owners. People get these bully breeds and they don't know how to train them properly, or they let them run the streets. But what breeds do you think people are going to report bites on? Big dogs that do big damage. I want to bet you, and I wish the CDC had statistics on it, because I want to bet that there's just as many little ankle biters. Chihuahuas have become very popular in this country. I was recently at a shelter that was filled with Chihuahuas, and several of them had bite issues.
They're small, they get afraid.
Exactly.
Yes.
Big kids running around with big shoes. It's going to be terrifying for those dogs. So I think it's pretty evenly spread among breeds. I think it has much more to do with the kind of responsibility that we take for our pets. Very often with the big dogs and these big attacks that people talk about, it's dogs that haven't been properly bred. The CDC does say that in fatal attacks, the majority of the dogs that kill people are males that are intact. And if the dog's been tied up, it's twice as likely to cause really horrible injuries or death.
I totally concur. Yes.
Yeah, all that testosterone just building up until they break loose. It's like a time bomb ticking.
Dangerous dogs can definitely come in all sizes, any age.
And shapes.
Yep, yeah. And any breed of dog. And I totally concur with you, Jane, that it really gets down to, people have tried to have breed bans throughout the United States. So we'll get rid of all the pit bulls and that will make the problem go away. And they found that breed bans really do not answer the problem at all.
They do not work at all. No, and in fact, what happens is breed bans punish responsible pet owners who have great dogs. It just does not. It does not address the problem. I really think it's a matter of changing public policy so that people have to be more responsible for their pets, and we need to enforce the laws we already have. Breed ban is just another layer of almost not enforceable rules. Because unless the dog is out of the house, who knows that they have it? And who's going to report a really great family dog? I think breed bans are just another layer of bureaucracy that can't be administered the way it should be. What should happen is that cities and towns and states should be making sure that people are licensing their dogs, that people are responsible for their dogs, that the dogs are vaccinated, that they are contained. I'd be much happier. Neutered. Yes, spayed or neutered first and foremost, and that people obey leash laws. If dogs are not allowed to roam free and your dog is roaming free, you're an irresponsible pet owner. The dog can be hit by a car, it can be stolen, it can be attacked by other dogs. If you truly love your pet, then you're going to maintain some sort of control.
And I think one of the biggest controls that people need even before they get that pet is to choose the breed that is right for their family. They may watch something on TV, for instance, when Frasier was on TV and they had the Jack Russell Terrier. Yep. Cutest little thing in the world. And if you talk to most people that have Jack Russell Terriers, they will call them Jack Russell Terrorist because they can just be bouncing off the wall. And you don't see that in the trained dog. So you have to know.
Cattle dogs and kids. People say to me, all he does is try to herd my kids. Well, what when you were getting a cattle dog?
That's what they're bred for.
Good. And there are people who will say, we had to turn our dog in because it got too big. Responsibility starts with the decisions. It doesn't start when the puppy arrives. We go to the consumer guide about what blender we should have. That dog longer than you will have a car. And what do? There's one in a basket at a flea market. The kids say, please, Mommy. Everybody weakens and they grab it. And they're ill-prepared for what's going to happen.
Socialization, training, selection, all of that is so important. Jane, you have just been fascinating, and we could go on, I know, for another half hour. Alas, we're not going to be able to. Give us the information again, Jane Greco Deming, where these listeners can go to learn more about this Kids Playing Safely with Dogs program.
Well, if they go to the American Humane website, americanhumane.org, and just go to the store, or under the Human Animal Bond is our education division, and they will see it's called American Humane Kids, and KIDS is an acronym for Kids Interacting with Dogs Safely.
Ooh, very good.
It's just a really fun, great program that just about, even scout leaders, kids that are getting their pet patches, this is a great program for them, and a scout leader can learn how to run it in about a half hour. So go to AmericanHumane.org and go to either the store prompt or to the Human Animal Bond prompt and down to education, and you'll find American Humane Kids.
Well, we know that even the best dog can have a bad day, and dogs can be ruined by so many different reasons. So it's always the adult's responsibility to teach children how to react around a dog safely, and the cat, and all pets in general.
And all pets, you're right.
Learning character is so important because those lessons will be carried on, not how they're just interacting with other animals, but other people. So we've been chatting today with Jane Greco Deming, the Director of Humane Education for the American Humane Association. Jane, thank you very much, and thank you everyone else for listening, and please come back again next week when we'll try to give you more information so you can be the best pet owner that you can be. Thanks for listening.
Pets can be a wonderful addition to your life. Keeping them healthy and happy is important. Pet Life Radio presents The Pet Doctor. Whether you have a dog, cat, reptile, or rabbit, you'll find answers for your pets straight from the vets. The Pet Doctor, on demand every week, only on PetLifeRadio.com.